Hello all, and welcome to this Friday afternoon beer review, which I'm going to dub the I'm kind of tired beer review. Had insomnia last night, don't know why. And then I woke up early for no reason at all. It's like tossing and turning until like about 2 a.m. And then it's like, oh, it's 7 a.m. Time for your body to get up even earlier than it usually does and not be able to fall back asleep because life sucks. That's why. Anyways, life sucks, and that's why there's good beer. And what is it that we're going to be kind of looking at today? And it's going to be more of a discussion of just general beer things, and combined with a review because let's be honest, big I've drank Bigfoot every year that I could since I've started this channel. Uh, when I could get it, I can't get it every year. I don't know how I got it this year. Usually it's been gone for about 2 months already. And this particular bottle was made, so it came off the production line on February 9th. So, which is odd because I did not see it in Tamura's for a while. You know, I'd last been there in about March, late March, early April, and they didn't have Bigfoot then. So I'm not sure why it suddenly appeared now, but there was like only maybe one or two sixers left. So of course I went and grabbed it. And I'm going to be doing my usual of saving a couple for later review. I'm not sure why I do that because my cellaring is subpar, so they usually only last about 3 to 4 years before they really start dropping off. But yeah, let's just get to this wonderful beer already. Yes, and that's how tired I am. I am slurring my words. I haven't had actually anything to drink at all yet. I'm just really, really tired. And I don't know, I might have to take a nap after this. I keep on forgetting that this thing produces head like a mother. Oh my god. My floor. Precious beer being wasted. No, no, no. I'm glad I reviewed this multiple times already, so I don't need to be dead serious about it. It's beautiful copper color, as always. Thick, voluminous, beige head. Redolent pine cones and toffeed malts. Big malts, big hops. Yeah. It's just a wonderful oomphy beer. It has such oomph, but it's still perfectly balanced. It doesn't go into the territory of treacly and cloyingly sweet, which a lot of high proof beers kind of do. And the hopping is never tongue scorching. It's always balanced to the malts. And every year the taste profile is remarkably similar. You'll get a different taste if you do verticals of this, but without a doubt, I give Sierra Nevada credit for having such sterling production values in that their line, you know, produces the same quality, same recognizable product year in, year out for as long as they've been making this beast of a beer since the 1980s, as the back says. I'm not going to read the back because I've read the back multiple times in multiple reviews. Hmm. So, how are you doing, my beer drinking friends? all of you who watch these reviews, I always find it funny when you watch YouTube videos, even though there's always that permeable fourth wall sort of thing going on that kind of defines the whole social media video thing. It's not a one-way street, it goes both ways. But so rarely within videos does, even with the big folks and the small folks, do us content creators, and God do I hate the term content creators, just go and pause the camera and just say, and how are you doing? Tell me about your day. One guy who did for a while was that bass guitar YouTuber, Davey504. I really like him. He would have like this moment in certain videos where he would just turn and have like a conversation with the viewer, and it felt cozy, friends. It felt cozy. Hmm. The key to this beer is to let it warm up a little bit, but not too much, just a little bit. Yeah. So I've already mentioned it in a previous video, and I'm not going to go too much more in depth about it, but I am very stoked that Anchor Brewing's going to be returning, and that the new ownership, the guy who founded Chobani Yogurt, is committed to returning the brewery to its former standard of greatness. To be fair, even before Sapporo bought out Anchor, they were sort of flailing a little bit ever since Maytag left, and the craft beer scene began to evolve at a very, very rapid clip. And a lot of old brewers just couldn't keep up with it, and it it it's sad because I think it is great that craft beer has boomed, and I can get craft beer in Hawaii. That wasn't something you could do back in the 90s. Heck, you probably couldn't really get it. I'd say you probably couldn't really easily get craft beer in Hawaii until about the mid 2000s, really. So well after the first wave had come and gone. And so it was nice to see that expansion. But at the same time, you know, American craft breweries, and this is, I only know the industries very well from like the American standpoint, is what I read about. Um, from what I hear from people from other countries, is not the same case. That the American craft beer industry is somewhat overexpanded right now, and of course the economy is contracting. I'm going to go. I know I say I don't like to make political statements, but I'm just going to say it's more of an economic statement. Our economy has been bad for a couple of years, and there's not enough venture capital money going around now with the rising interest rates, and it's just causing a lot of contraction from both personal pocketbooks and business pocketbooks. Technically, I should just say capital rather than venture capital. That's a subcategory. But you get my drift. And so, while this sort of retraction of the industry is starting, and it's not the first time that this has happened in the craft beer industry. If you remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a sort of contraction within the industry as it drew back into itself. And there was the loss of some breweries that were nationally distributed, that were well known and even had commercials. Who here remembers Pete's Wicked Ale? Uh, I remember it not firsthand. I never drank it. I kind of am curious, though. It was said to be a very good brown ale, and I do like brown ales. But I think we're entering that new period now, where the industry is really going to contract within the United States, and probably within the Anglosphere, because the industry has pretty much maxed out right now. And this is kind of coming at a time where I feel that within the industry, things have become sort of static because of the cutthroat nature of things. Everyone is chasing after the dollar, and you can't be blamed. You got to be profitable. That's what you do in our environment, you know. So it's leading to a certain reconsolidation of what I would like to say is the state of things before craft beer, in which everything in America, well, the vast majority of things in America were lagers, not just any kind of lager, pale lagers, brewed with adjuncts. And I find it kind of funny how now you have various craft brewers consolidating and deconsolidating under larger macro brewery corporations or even larger umbrella corporations within just the beverage industry, like InBev. Well, at the same time, you go to the store and basically in that craft beer section, you see part of it has been sectioned off for hard seltzers. But interestingly, I've noticed that hard seltzers are starting to contract a little bit. So they've lost some shelf space. But the predominance of IPAs, particularly hazy IPAs, and high proof stouts, basically barrel aged imperial stouts, that sort of thing, are dominating the shelf space in your average American craft beer store. I should say bottle shop. And I think that this, as long as that holds out, it's going to lead to further contraction. Guys like me who have been, I've had this channel for since 2014, so 10 years. I was drinking craft beer regularly for about, boy, it's hard to put a pinpoint on that, but I would say it was sort of a process, but I would say I was regularly drinking it for about 3 to 4 years before I started making videos for my channel. But I have to say I was dipping my toes into that sphere way back into like my college days, which would be the late 90s, early 2000s. Dating myself here. Where was I going with this? So somebody like me, I go to the bottle shop, and I've had to go and basically, when I started, I could go. There was basically just two places I went to. I went to Tamura's and I went to Whole Foods. I don't really go to either of them much anymore because both of them are fairly mainstream, and as such, they're appealing to the widest possible taste. So obviously, both of them have a large selection of macro brews because that stuff does sell. It does, turn over. And why is that? Because it's all IPAs. I still review IPAs, particularly local IPAs or IPAs of some renown. Speaking of, there's one that I keep on forgetting that I need to go and pick up. I need to go and pick up Cigar City before it stops being distributed here in Hawaii. I've heard that's a very good classic IPA, so I should look into it. But yeah, basically, IPAs, particularly hazy IPAs, slash tropical IPAs, slash New England IPAs, and yes, I know there's actual distinct differences in between those three categories, but they all kind of are starting to blend together on the shelf. Those don't appeal to me. You know, boozy, juicy, and oh, so very, very samey. I have to go to other places to find things to review or do different things. You know, I used to do more reviews than I do now. But now I've started doing a lot more kombuchas and non-alcoholic beverages. And part of that is my own personal health, but some of that is just for lack of finding content to review. And I believe that this contraction within the craft beer industry, and I believe the worst of the economic stuff is going to come in the near to middle future. But and goodness to me, beer is probably going to be the last of my worries at that point. I believe it's going to just cut through the industry, and we're going to have something of a reset. And part of me thinks that right now, as we speak, that there are people who are like me, who are in the industry, unlike me, who is not within the industry. I'm just an enthusiast. Are going to be thinking of new things, new ways, and revitalizing the industry. And we're going to have a third wave. And that's really going to pick up once these economic doldrums, you know, finally subside. I mean, I'm not sure when that's going to be because I don't think we're in the depth of it yet. You know, into the deep end of it yet. But when it happens, it's going to be glorious. It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be something to look forward to, which is not something I do very much right now within either the craft beer sphere or within, you know, just general. Let's say I have a foreboding for the future, as it were. And here I am. It's almost 20 minutes in, fueled by this wonderful beer. I would like to go and just kind of wrap up by saying it's been a pleasure and a privilege to be reviewing beers for you people. I know a lot of you also have channels, people who watch this, and it's been a pleasure and a privilege to watch your videos. And I would like to just say, and I've done this maybe once or twice before, but I think right now is a good time since this is a sort of discussion video more than a review video. I would just like to say thank you. Thank you for being there and viewing these videos, offering up great commentary. And for those of you who produce content, thank you for providing videos for me to watch and comment on. And that, folks, is your beer review / discussion for this Friday afternoon. Cheers.